When night falls over San Diego, a cold wind slips through the old streets, as if carrying the whispers of restless souls. On the corner of San Salvador Street, the Whaley House stands tall. Its red-tiled roof and dark windows stare like hollow eyes, watching every passerby. In 1857, when the first bricks were laid, no one knew this land was already soaked in blood and tears. This isn't just a house, it's a grave, a resting place for stories that were never meant to be told. Let's turn back time to the days when this ground was used for public executions. A man named Yankee Jim Robinson, tall, wild-eyed, once stood on the gallows right here. His crime? Stealing a boat. But as the rope tightened around his neck, Yankee Jim let out a mad, echoing laugh. It was as if he knew he would never truly leave this place. The crowd shivered, not from his death, but from the feeling that something had been released and had rooted itself deep into the land. The rope snapped, but Yankee Jim's spirit, they say, still wanders, waiting. Thomas Whaley, an ambitious businessman, didn't believe the townspeople's whispers. To him, this land was opportunity, a chance to build an empire, a grand home, a store, even a courtroom. In 1857, the Whaley House was completed. White walls, elegant furnishings, a vision of success. But from the very first night, the Whaley family felt something was wrong. Heavy footsteps echoed on the stairs, even when the house was asleep. Doors creaked, opened and closed, without wind, and sometimes, in the darkness, a foul, rotting stench filled the air, as if from the grave itself. Thomas's wife, Anna, was the first to hear the crying, not from their own children, but the voice of a young girl, faint, desperate, coming from the corner of the room. Terrified, Anna clung to her husband, but Thomas brushed it off. Just the wind, he said. Yet night after night, the cries grew clearer, colder, like a plea to be freed. Then the objects began to move. A silver comb slid off the dresser. A book in the library opened on its own, its pages turning in silence. The Whaleys began to wonder, were they truly alone in this house? People in San Diego whispered of a curse. They said Yankee Jim wasn't the only ghost. A young girl, beaten to death by her foster father on this very land, still wandered, with hollow eyes and icy hands. Those who passed the house at night swore they saw a tall figure, standing at the second-floor window, smiling a twisted smile. But Thomas Whaley, stubborn and proud, refused to leave. He believed he could conquer the darkness. He was wrong. The Whaley House isn't just a place for the living. It's a gateway, a crossroads between this world and the one beyond. Every creak, every shadow, is a warning. And when you stand before its old wooden door, you can feel it, a cold breath on the back of your neck, as if someone is standing right behind you, whispering, "Don't go in." But the real question is, do you have the courage to ignore the warning? The darkness inside the Whaley House was no longer just whispers. It had shape, it had breath, and it wanted to be seen. The walls seemed to twitch at night, as if the house itself was alive, devouring the peace of the Whaley family. The heavy footsteps of Yankee Jim no longer echoed only from the stairs. Now they struck the parlor floor, slow, steady, like a threat that never ends. Anna Whaley, with dark circles beneath her sleepless eyes, began to write down what she saw, or rather, what she could not explain. One night, as pale moonlight spilled through the window, Anna froze in the hallway. At the far end, a tall, shadowy figure drifted past. Was it Yankee Jim? Or something wearing his shape? Lifeless eyes stared into hers, and a crooked smile stopped her heart cold. Anna screamed. But when Thomas arrived, the hallway was empty. Only the biting chill of air remained. "I didn't see anything," Thomas muttered, but his voice trembled. Even he, who once mocked ghost stories, could feel it now, the invisible gaze, watching their every move. Then the girl's crying returned, but no longer soft. It was sharp, echoing, coming from the basement. No one dared go down there after dark. One day, little Lillian Whaley ran upstairs from the playroom, her face pale, her voice shaking. The girl in the white dress, she held my hand. But when Anna checked, no one was there. Only a strange bruise on Lillian's wrist, shaped like a child's hand. Objects no longer just moved, they appeared, in places they never should. A kitchen knife, on Thomas's pillow. An old dress, belonging to no one in the house, found in a sealed closet. The house's reputation spread. Even Mark Twain, the famous writer, visited the Whaley House out of curiosity. He left pale-faced, claiming he'd felt watched by unseen eyes, as if someone stood behind him. But when he turned, there was only empty air. Locals whispered that the house was not just haunted by Yankee Jim or the tragic girl. They said there were 22 spirits trapped within these walls, from executed criminals to Whaley family members who died in pain. By the 1960s, the U.S. Department of Commerce officially named it one of the most haunted houses in America, a title that made even the bravest hesitate. The Whaleys no longer smiled. They lived in fear, prisoners of the very home they once built with pride. Every night, they prayed, but the prayers never seemed to reach past the darkness. The Whaley House isn't just home to the dead, it is a prison, and the Whaley family, whether they liked it or not, had become its unwilling wardens. The Whaley House was no longer a home. Its once pristine white walls now seemed soaked in darkness, every crack telling a tale of despair. Though the Whaley family had long since fled, carrying their fear deep in their minds, the house remained, still, unmoving, waiting, like a living entity, hungry for new souls to cross its threshold. Today it stands as a museum, welcoming the curious, but the ghosts of the past have never left. They remain, patient and hungry. Visitors to the Whaley House tell stories that freeze the blood. One woman swore she felt a tiny ice-cold hand grip her wrist as she stood in the parlor. A man, skeptical and defiant, left pale and shaken after hearing his name, whispered from the basement. Doors locked tight, swing open on their own at night, creaking like a voice calling into the dark. And some have seen the little girl in the white dress, standing silent in the corner of the room, her hollow eyes staring straight at them. They blink, and she's gone. But the feeling of being watched never leaves. It follows them, even after they've left San Diego. Museum staff, those who spend hours within the house, speak of chilling moments. A night guard heard the heavy footsteps of Yankee Jim pounding from the second floor in a building that was supposed to be empty. The tour guide found a mirror in the bedroom, clouded with breath, as if someone had just exhaled upon it, but no one was there. Even modern technology isn't safe from the house's reach. Cameras shut off by themselves, flashlights flicker, and voice recorders capture whispers that don't belong to any living soul. The Whaley House, home to 22 trapped spirits, is not just a tourist attraction. It is a warning. Locals believe each spirit holds a story left untold, from Yankee Jim, with his twisted grin, to the sorrowful little girl, forever searching for comfort. But what are they trying to say? Do they want to be remembered? Or do they wish to pull the living into the dead's embrace? No one knows for sure, but one thing is certain: no one leaves the house without taking a piece of its darkness with them. When moonlight touches the windows of the Whaley House, you might hear the wind howl. Or is that the whisper of the dead? The house still stands, silent, proud, and full of secrets, beckons you to step inside, to feel the chill breath at the back of your neck, to hear the cries echoing from the stairs. But be warned, once you cross that threshold, you might take something with you. Or worse, you might never leave. The Whaley House is waiting. Do you dare face it?